Chosen ones, have you ever felt that something greater is calling you? That your life has a purpose beyond the ordinary? It's because many are called, but few have the courage to answer. God's calling doesn't come with fanfare or easy promises. It arrives as a gentle voice, a stirring in your heart, something only those with ears to hear can recognize. While the world is distracted by false glimmers and temporary rewards, the chosen know there's a higher mission, something that transcends the material. But answering this call is not easy. It requires breaking away from what is comfortable, stepping out of the crowd, and saying yes to the unknown. Many hear the voice but ignore it because following this path means letting go of what the world values: status, vanity, the pursuit of power. Only those who understand the weight of eternity choose the narrow road, even if it means going against the tide. After all, being chosen is not about privilege, it's about purpose. And here's the most remarkable part: this choice has nothing to do with who you appear to be or what you possess. It doesn't matter what the world says. God doesn't look at outward appearances or bank accounts. He chooses those with a willing heart. Those who, despite their imperfections, are ready to become instruments of His will. That's why you, chosen one, sometimes feel different. There's something in you that doesn't quite fit in this world, and that feeling isn't random. It's the sign that you've been set apart for something greater. But remember, answering the call requires courage. The road may be lonely, but it is never forsaken. God never abandons His chosen ones. He gives you the strength to endure trials and the wisdom to discern the way forward. Chosen one, you are not here by accident. If you feel this call, know that answering it is the greatest act of faith you can take. Don't let the noise of the world drown out the voice calling you to be a light in the darkness. You were chosen for an eternal purpose. Chosen ones, look around and see how deeply the world is plunged into darkness. The corruption isn't just political, it's spiritual. Relationships poisoned by manipulation, values distorted by greed, and lives driven by the pursuit of power and fleeting pleasures. This is the reality we face. It's no wonder that you, the chosen, feel a profound discomfort, a sense that you don't belong here. And you're right, you don't. God has set you apart to fight against this decay, to be beacons of light in the midst of darkness. The battle against evil forces, however, is not fought with conventional weapons. This is a spiritual war, and the weapons are faith, truth, and unconditional love. It's easy to feel discouraged when we see evil advancing, but remember, darkness can never withstand the light. The enemy seeks to distract the chosen, flooding your life with chaos, lies, and trials. But you carry the authority of God. You are armor that no force of evil can penetrate, as long as you stand firm in your faith. The world grows increasingly hostile toward the chosen because the light you carry exposes the shadows many prefer to hide. People feel uncomfortable around those who live with integrity because your life reflects the truth they avoid confronting. That's why many will try to lead you astray, attack you, and make you doubt your purpose. But, chosen ones, do not be discouraged. You were sent here, for this very time and place, to show that there is a different path, a path that leads to eternal life. This fight may feel overwhelming, but you are never alone. God fights alongside you, sending signs, strengthening your spirit, and guiding your steps. Chosen ones, rise as spiritual warriors. Do not let the weight of the world silence you, because truth is the most powerful weapon against decay. You were called to be the resistance, to show the world that even amidst corruption, there is still hope, there is still goodness, and there is still God. And as long as God is present, darkness will never have the final victory. Chosen ones, have you noticed that even in the midst of storms, there is always an unseen hand holding you up? That is God's grace. It is what nullifies the attempts of those who try to harm you, whether through words, actions, or even malicious thoughts. Divine protection isn't just a theory, it's a reality. When God places His mark on someone, no opposing force can prevail. This grace is the shield that keeps you standing, even when the world around you tries to knock you down. Those who try to harm a chosen one don't realize who they're dealing with. God is clear in His word, "Do not touch my anointed ones." The weight of that warning cannot be ignored. The evil planned against you boomerangs back to its creator. Even when it seems like they have the upper hand, those who scheme against you quickly face the consequences of their actions. Often, chosen ones, you won't even be aware of what's happening. God works silently, ensuring that nothing formed against you will prosper. But don't think this means a life without challenges. The attacks will come because the enemy cannot stand the light you carry. He will try to use people, situations, and even your own doubts against you. Yet here's the truth: as long as you keep your faith and your heart pure, no weapon forged against you will succeed. God's grace is not only a shield, it's also the strength that turns wounds into victories, attacks into lessons, and tears into testimonies of triumph. Chosen ones, remember that you are not alone in this journey. Heaven itself stands with you, fighting on your behalf. Every day you face with courage and faith is a declaration that God's grace is enough. No matter what is brought against you, the outcome will always be the same: protection, victory, and the fulfillment of purpose. So walk with confidence. The one who called you is faithful to guard and honor you. And no force, no matter how great it seems, can alter the destiny God has prepared for the life of a chosen one. Chosen ones, have you ever wondered why you sometimes face hostility for no apparent reason? This is no coincidence. The light you carry is unsettling. A world steeped in corruption cannot tolerate the purity and truth that emanate from you. Those who live in darkness feel exposed in the presence of a chosen one, as though their flaws and hidden intentions are being brought to light. Instead of seeking change, many choose to attack what forces them to see themselves clearly. The envy and hatred directed at the chosen often come from people who don't understand God's grace. They see how you shine, how doors open for you, how peace follows you even in the midst of trials, and it consumes them. For those trapped in vanity and worldly competition, the presence of a chosen one is a constant reminder that there is something greater than power and earthly pleasures. You carry a truth they try to ignore. These attacks, whether overt or subtle, have a spiritual root. The enemy knows who you are and seeks to use people's animosity to divert you from your purpose. Criticism, rejection, and even betrayal are strategies designed to make you doubt yourself and God. But, chosen ones, remember this: such attacks are a sign that you are on the right path. No one throws stones at trees that bear no fruit. You are seen as a threat because you are different, because you walk with divine purpose. As difficult as it may be to face this opposition, never forget that God sustains you. He turns every injustice into a testimony and every pain into spiritual growth. You were not called to please the world but to impact it, to be the light that the world desperately needs but often rejects. So, stand firm. The hostility you face is a reminder that you have been chosen, set apart, and protected for something far greater. And those who walk with God are never alone. Chosen ones, you carry a weight that is not given to everyone: the responsibility of being light in a world consumed by darkness. While many live guided by corrupted values, selfishness, and vanity, you have been called to be different. You are not here by chance. God has placed you in this time and place with a clear purpose. Being chosen means reflecting divine grace, even when the environment around you tries to dim your light. The mission of a chosen one is challenging because it demands constant commitment to truth and integrity. It's easy to get lost in the busyness of life, but you have been called to be anchors of hope, living examples that it is possible to walk with God even in the midst of chaos. Your actions, words, and choices have a greater impact than you may realize. The world is watching you, even if that feels heavy at times. Remember, your life is a testimony that reaches those still searching for a way out of the darkness. But being chosen does not mean being perfect. You, too, face struggles, doubts, and moments of weakness. What sets you apart is your spiritual resilience and unbreakable connection with God. You know that your strength doesn't come from yourself, but from the one who called you. The responsibility of living with integrity in a corrupt world is sustained by divine grace. And even when no one else is watching, God sees. He honors those who remain faithful, even in the small things. Chosen ones, you are called to transform, not conform. Do not be intimidated by the vast corruption around you. Every act of kindness, every word of love, and every display of justice you carry out is a seed planted in this world's dry and barren soil. God doesn't expect you to change everything on your own, but to be His instruments, touching lives one by one. The responsibility is great, but the reward is even greater, knowing you are fulfilling the eternal purpose for which you were created. Don't give up. The world needs you. Chosen ones, no one ever said it would be easy to carry this mission. There are days when the weight of being set apart for something greater feels overwhelming. Loneliness becomes a constant companion because not everyone can understand the journey you are on. While others connect with the world on a surface level, you feel something deeper, something that sets you apart. This difference is beautiful but also painful because being chosen often means walking alone. Provocations are another inevitable part of the journey. People around you may question your faith, mock your choices, or even try to bring you down. It's not necessarily because they are inherently bad, but because your light exposes their own shadows. It's like a mirror reflecting what they avoid confronting. This can stir envy, anger, or even contempt. But, chosen ones, never forget, the stones thrown at you cannot bring down someone who is upheld by God. And this is where spiritual resilience comes in. Every trial, every tear, every battle strengthens you. Being chosen isn't a title, it's a constant process of preparation. God allows certain challenges to shape your character, refine your spirit, and teach lessons that can only be learned in the fire of adversity. Spiritual resilience doesn't come from human strength, but from total surrender to God. Even when everything seems lost, you know He will never abandon you. No matter how heavy the path feels, remember, you are not alone. God walks beside you, guiding, protecting, and renewing your strength. Loneliness is not emptiness, it is the space where God's voice becomes clearer. Provocations are not defeats, they are opportunities to show how firmly you stand. And spiritual resilience is not a burden, it is the living testimony that nothing can shake those who are upheld by the Creator. Chosen ones, you are called to bear the weight and, through it, transform the world around you. Do not give up. You are stronger than you realize. Chosen ones, your belief in your divine intuition has brought you here. If you feel you are chosen and that your energy needs protection, join this channel. Comment 444 and subscribe to the channel to receive more videos. Now, let's enter the silence.